I just never had any type of like I don't know. There was nothing I really thought of. Just
Take care,
I love you, Mark.
Bye.
Let's see who we dump Mark for. Let's see who.
And welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. You rang in right at the end, 7 o'clock. Who are we speaking with today?
This is Luke Holt.
Oh! It's getting better. Everybody we've hung up on has gotten better. So Luke, we just gotta let you know we just dumped Mark from the Board Game Barrage to answer your call. So there you go.
Can I say something about Mark?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so Chaos in the Old World is an out-of-print game that I've wanted for a really long time. And when you search Facebook Marketplace, he's the first dude that comes up, and he has it for $250 with the Horned Rat expansion, right? That's a really good deal. Like, obviously it's a lot, but the expansion alone is like $200 by itself.
Wow.
And I messaged him probably like 7 times without a reply. And I gave him a little attitude on the last one.
Uh-oh.
I was like, yo, are you going to reply or what? I'm trying to buy a game from you.
Oh, Mark.
And then he finally did. But by that time, I'd already bought a copy of the game. So it made no sense.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Luke,
but I still listen to the Board Game Barrage every week, and I love him very much.
Luke, he's my favorite tank, so I cannot
What
talk
tank
about
color
Mark.
is he?
Red.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
green.
Oh, caught you off guard.
Kellen is red.
Kellen is red.
Kellen
Even
is
I
red.
know that. I don't even listen to those guys.
I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
What tank are you?
I'm seeing red.
What tank
at
are
how
you?
Kellen treats me.
What tank are you? You're just the tank.
I haven't
You're
been-
just the tank.
I have yet to be on their show because Kellen doesn't invite me.
Gobby's the fish tank.
I'm the Panhauser.
Panhauser?
Panzer.
The pants.
The pansy?
The pansy tank. I'm the pansy tank.
That would be awful.
Showing up
It's like what tank are yours? And you're like, I'm the Panhauser. Like, Gobby, in this culture, we can't really have this tank be on our emblem on our show.
Can you imagine, like an officer having to go to someone's home to tell a loved one that their husband died? And like, how did he die? Well, he was killed by a pansy.
He was killed by a pansy.
It happens.
A pansy tank.
Well, Luke, since you're our last caller, we can keep you on quite longer.
I have some people that I've promised we will call back.
Oh, so this might go long. Then we'll have to call them back.
It will have to go long because I've promised.
That's okay.
I don't know all I see is numbers, and they called in.
Probably telemarketers.
Well, we're busy. They might be. Well, they give me a thumbs up when I said we're going to call back.
Oh, well, we'll call them
Something about extended warranties. I'm not sure.
But we'll talk to them too. Luke, do you have anything you'd like to ask Enrique? He is here in studio.
why is it always?
Oh
me?
my goodness.
This is Luke
I'm at
Holt.
a loss for words.
Luke Holt.
Okay. You know,
Luke, I have a question for you. Since you're hemming and hawing for Enrique,
Hemming and Hall.
okay.
Luke, I'm going to ask you a sincere question. How's your heart?
You're allowed. How's my heart?
How's your heart?
What's that?
Oh, well, I appreciate you asking that. It's been good, man. I mean, I'm still sleeping on an air mattress that has like a camel hump in the middle of it, which is kind of weird, but...
you're talking about... Oh, that's right.
He has,
Yeah.
he's went through some things in life.
Yes, he did. He broke up. Yes, that's awful. And on our Discord.
Yes.
Not the best time in our podcast.
This episode may go long, unlike my relationship. So,
hey, some things are better off that way. Just saying.
On the serious note, I've gotten back to kind of who I am and the things that I like to do. I kind of every facet of my life I've tried to improve on, like finances. I went to counseling. I've been playing volleyball a whole bunch, which is something I didn't get to do last year. So things have been very, very good, and I can't really complain. I'm kind of stuck in this City, which I'm not a huge fan of, but
Which one?
all I can do
Yeah,
is
dox him.
I'm in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Wow.
Rapid City. Rapid City?
Rapid City.
Yes,
There's
Rapid.
like waters.
Oh, okay.
Rapid City. Not like the city's not
And
fast.
you're a military man, right?
Air Force.
This is correct.
And so is that why you're there?
Yes,
Stationed.
unfortunately.
What was your rank?
I'm an A1C.
An A1C. Your blood sugar is very high. I have no idea what an A1C. Airman first class. So you've
Airman
got.
first class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I-
So in the enlisted corps, it's E3.
All right. You're working your way up. You going to stay in?
Definitely, maybe.
Definitely, maybe. You're going to get your education. What they got you do? What's your
Stop,
MOS?
Stop.
I'm
I gotta
sorry.
ask-
I already have a bachelor's degree.
I gotta
Oh,
ask
see,
you a
there you
question.
go.
I gotta ask you a
Hang on,
question.
hang on,
No,
we're
I'm
talking
not
stuff.
done.
Stop.
I
Hang
have,
on. Hang on. We're talking about this. So what do you do? What do you do?
How do you feel about Maverick?
I'm not there yet. He's not a pilot.
You know, fun fact. So in Maverick, you know, in the beginning of the movie, when he's like, all right, this is the mission that we got to do. We're going to fly into this canyon and these things are going to shoot at us and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's my job.
Is to tell people what they're going to do?
Yeah, as I give briefs
You
and,
just
all
brief.
that, and all that kind of
So
stuff.
you're the guy.
Yeah.
So you're literally the.
You're a debriefer.
You're the guy. Like
So if I'm wearing
Yeah,
briefs, you
I'm
debrief
always,
me.
I always go commando whenever I give one.
so, like you're the old guy with the beard in the original Star Wars. It's like the hole's only 2 meters wide, and you guys are gonna go, and most of you won't return, and you just tell them what's gonna happen, and then they all go. So you just get the information, disseminate it down to them, and say, "All right, take off." That's your MOS.
Pretty
Is you're a
much, yeah.
debriefer?
For the most part, yeah.
That's very interesting.
That's interesting.
That's a skill.
great
Communications.
job.
Did you have a bachelor's degree in communications?
No, I have a bachelor. Well, kind of, sort of, I guess, technically. It's a bachelor's degree in theater arts.
Theater.
He's
art.
not married.
You're an
Makes sense.
actor.
Bachelor's degree.
That doesn't.
I was
that's
an
a cult.
actor, yes.
An actor.
I've acted professionally, very, very briefly.
I-
though.
Really?
You-
Debrief.
Debriefly. So listen, stop
Yeah,
making puns.
debriefly, yeah,
Please stop,
exactly.
John. Please stop.
Have you played football on the beach shirtless?
Absolutely.
With the boys.
Oh my God, the boys.
No, really. What have you acted in?
I was in a stage production of 1776 with
Love the book.
oh my god, okay, you'll know him, Kevin something. He was the boyfriend to Julia Roberts' character in some movie in like the 80s or 90s.
Yes.
He was the lead of that show.
Fight
And
for
so
it.
I met him. I met Don Wells, R.I.P. I met
Kevin
who
Bacon.
else did I meet?
Don't do
No,
the
I didn't
Kevin
meet
Bacon
Kevin
thing.
Bacon, unfortunately.
Oh.
Who was the other woman that I can never remember? She was in Falcon. She was like a hot blonde back in the day, and she was on Falcon, which was only like
What's
she was only in
Falcon?
one episode.
And we don't objectify women. But
What's Falcon?
look up the hot blonde on Falcon. Look, hot from blonde.
I don't know what
Falcon.
Falcon is.
It's like the Condor
Stop Falcon with me.
and Snowman. That's not. I'm sorry. So you acted. What got you into acting?
Well, to answer the first question, I also was a puppeteer for the Plant and Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay.
And that was like the most fun production. That I
I'm
did.
gonna stop right there on the puppeteer thing because I'll keep going if I keep asking you about the puppeteer thing. But the acting, what got you into acting?
So initially, I wanted to be a voice actor, but I kind of lack the autonomous drive to do something for myself. Like a lot of the reason that I do the jobs that I've done is because it's for like the greater good or for someone immediately benefiting from it. So doing voice acting is very much like a lonesome, you got to do it all yourself kind of thing. And it's just not how I operate. So I got out of college and I was like, you know what? I want to get a job with my degree, because a lot of people are just like, oh, I have a degree, but I don't do anything with it. So I hit up the local theater, and then in like the 6 months it took them to finally get back to me, I just went there and was kind of underpaid for the first like 2 or 3 months. I mean, all actors are underpaid except for like Brad Pitt and all them. But yeah, so then I just started doing, I wanted more consistency. I didn't want to look for a job every 6 weeks when a show ended. So I was more focused on the technical side, like lighting and sound and stage design and all that stuff. So that I was kind of a jack of all trades, kind of did all that stuff. And then every now and then when they needed an extra body on stage, or the puppeteer for the Little Shop of Horrors. That's basically the 2 times that I did stuff.
So the puppeteering thing was a special interest of mine. Very briefly, there's a YouTuber called Barnaby Dixon. Barn ABY Dixon. Who like shows, he's got like a bunch of subscribers, but he shows like various just puppets and things of that nature and how they work and all that. And that just fascinated me because there's something about ventriloquism and puppets and things of that nature that just, there's something about that really just captivates me for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Because it's
I saw Warhorse not on Broadway, but just like a production of it, like a traveling production. And it was incredible. You know, like the first 5 minutes they're out there, you're like, oh, look at these guys dressed in all black. Like I'm going to see them the whole show. But then at the end, you're crying, you know, as they transition from like the baby horse to the big boy horse. And so like the way that so I had two different puppets that I was operating. The first one, I was basically take like a schoolhouse chair without any legs and then put it onto a moving circular platform and then put a seatbelt on it. So I was sitting in that, and then the thing basically draped over me as my whole body while I'm sitting cross-legged. And that's when, I forget the name of the first song that Audrey 2 sings, but it's very like quick paced. And we had a black guy who was the vocalist for it, and we synced up like instantly. And so I was doing every hit of the runs. So basically I had one arm on top holding a metal bar and then another arm on the bottom holding a metal bar. And I was basically chomping constantly, moving my arms up and down. And it was about a 35-pound puppet. So I'm basically lifting 17 and a half pounds with each arm.
It's a fat
and it was for a straight, like 6 minutes straight. So I got like ripped during that show. And then the second puppet, when it got bigger in the second act, was basically if you took like a roller coaster seat, like how it like goes over your shoulders. It was basically like that with like a metal belt around my back. And I actually had to lift it up with my whole body. And it was about 70 to 80 pounds. And so then instead of me using one arm on each bar, there was one bar that was basically like a barbell that I'd have to lift up in order for the mouth to open up. And I had to actually like stand up and walk around with this like extra 70, 80 pounds. It was so much fun. And then like just kind of coming out of it like Ace Ventura out of the rhinos. It was great. So like at the end of the show, I'm just like super sweaty with gloves on. I just come out and like, oh, hey.
So puppeteering, acting, and then it's like Air Force. I'll do that. Interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, there's a lot in between that, but you know, don't want to go long. You know.
Nah, I understand.
Luke, you're at 12:42. We've got to go, Luke. We love you, but we got to go.
But Luke,
I got to ask you guys questions.
Please,
2 questions.
Throw it out there.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first question, I'll ask both, and then you can answer them accordingly. So the first one is going to be, if there was a tournament, like a $50,000 tournament for a board game, what board game do you think you have the best chance of winning with? And then the second question is, when it comes to learning a skill, like think of an instrument that you would love to be able to play just at the highest level. Would you rather guaranteed be at that position in 5 years, but you have to work for it? Or you just wake up the next morning and you're a master at it? Basically, is the journey to be an expert more important to you than just being an expert at it?
No, wake up the next morning, I'm done.
Violin, definitely take 5 years to learn it.
Yeah.
Concordia, that's my game I would play.
That's just because you're just who you're playing them with.
You and Enrique.
You and Enrique.
Or
Enrique.
Can't Stop.
No, that's complete randomness.
I'm very good at Can't Stop.
No, you're not. Stop.
Stop.
Cranston.
Brian Cranston, stop.
Go ahead, Enrique.
Basically,
What
game
instrument,
you would choose?
What instrument would you play?
Okay, instrument you would play.
And it can't be the Xbox controller.
oh, very funny. I would say probably the violin as well. I always, I've
Devil
always
went down
liked.
to Georgia. Okay, we got it.
The violin. The violin's
All
excellent.
right, we got to wrap this up.
And to answer, I am undefeated in the best, and Ben Mannix will agree with me, bidding game of all times. Modern Art.
You've almost forgot the name.
Evan
I thought you were
Williams
going to
got
say
me.
High Society there for a second.
I know Modern Art. I cannot be beaten in Modern Art. Enrique can't be beaten in anything that requires cards.
Luke,
Yeah.
thanks for calling. You've been a fantastic
For
caller.
sure. Thanks for answering.
And call back. We'll call back some other
We'll
time.
do this another time, and
And
we'll have the same 7 callers call.
We'll have a counseling session with you. You can tell us we can get you through these rough patches.
We're
Enrique's
listening.
very good. We're listening, like Dr. Fraser
the,
Crane.
the patch is no longer rough.
There
It's
you
no
go.
longer
That's
rough.
Good. That's
All
good.
right, that's what we want. See, we've already helped.
All
We're
right,
not even
Luke,
here.
Thanks for calling, and we'll see you on
The next one.
the next one.
Okay, you won't see me anytime soon.
I won't see you anytime soon.
We'll talk
I don't know how to end this. Bye bye.
All right. Love you
That's
guys.
terrible.
Bye.
Bye, Luke.
Okay, we have to call this person back. I've promised I call.
Get this away from me.
Oh yeah, you're playing with this
Yeah,
arm.
yeah.
Call that person.
I don't know how to call them.
Just
Calls.
dial 1-800
Let me tell them to call right now.
JG Rutledge 776. Remember that?
But no,
Doing local commercials.
but yeah, like,
Local.
but yeah, get that arm away from me. I literally can't. Like,
So
sit
people
still.
want while Gabi's working on the phone. Me and you discuss
All right.
that we have a meta like this little area for which we record at in Gabi's room here. We have these little arms that connect to his board game table that keep us from
I
reverberating
don't know. Reverberations.
when we slap the table. So these little
Slap of the bass.
Hey, listen,
Sorry,
we're
I'm-
talking.
I'm-
Why are you just Enrique? Listen, one of the things.
But he listened here. He.
Answer.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is Gummy. Thank you for calling. Who are we talking to today?
Hey, how are you?
We're doing good.
Cool. This is Mason Pierce.
Mason Pierce.
It's Mason.
Yes, Jerry's arch nemesis.
Yes, I have thoughts about Mason. I don't know why I have thoughts about Mason, but I do.
Yeah. You also, one time I wrote an email in and you made fun of my name, and my wife thought that was absolutely hilarious. She started crying laughing.
Why would you make fun of Mason?
I'm
What's wrong with his name?
I'm looking it up now, the email, because I'm like, what would I say about Mason?
Is your profession bricklaying by any chance?
Close. It's economics,
Ooh.
which is the bricklaying of the data world.
The economics of bricklaying.
Greetings.
Mason, do you
Yeah.
have any questions or comments for either of us, all of us, anything in general?
Yeah, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on who would win a fist fight between Gabi and Tom Vassell.
Okay, I'll tell you right now. So I've met Tom Vassell several times. Tom Vassell is a very tall man. He appears to be very vibrant, and we all know that he has like numerous children. So his vitality is up there, no doubt. But
His virility.
his virility. But what people don't understand is number one, Gabi is a big man, but there are certain aspects of Gabi that will catch you off guard. Have you ever watched like National Geographic and like you've watched like an alligator? Maybe that's not a good comparison. Like a hippo and how fast they move. It's like, it's unbelievable that an animal that you just don't assume would be so agile. And I remember when I first met Gabi, he danced. He was like just shuffling around, and he's very light on his feet.
Cleveland shuffling around.
And I would suspect that if it was they're both angry. Like if you just took Tom and Gabi and threw them in a pit and said just fight, Tom is going to beat Gabi to death.
I would say we both have like these deep down anger issues that which we like squash down, and then they like just boil to the top at some point.
Imagine Tom just bashing your head in, screaming, "Why did you leave me, Sam?" And just who's Tom? Who, by the way? Anyways, but I think that if you made Gabi mad and the passion with the violence welt up in him, I have no doubt that Gabi could take Tom Vassell. I think Gabi could not only beat Tom Vassell, he could probably throw Roy in there too. I think he'd take them both at the same time.
Wow.
I think he's that.
Okay.
I don't know. Roy's pretty wiry these days.
I don't know. I think you get him, but I would.
Okay, here's my Enrique. What do you say?
I would like Gabi. You're very big, but like you have a lot of strength to it. Like I've seen
Well,
you.
you're big boned, but it's not bone because
Like-
you don't have any muscle really. You just have.
How dare
Well, you don't work out,
No.
but you're naturally. What's the term I'm looking for?
You're naturally strong.
What? No, not strong. What is it that we
Not
say in the
strong.
South? Hoss. Like
Hoss?
so. I don't know if Hoss in the South.
Have you seen Bonanza?
He hasn't seen banana.
Have I
Mason.
seen Bonanza?
Mason Pierce, have you seen Bonanza, the TV show?
Yeah, but it's It's been a while.
Been a while.
Yeah.
There's literally a character called Hoss.
And so in the South, if somebody says that you're Hoss, doesn't necessarily mean that you work out or that you're buff. It's just that this
You're just
person
a big guy.
is a big guy who has you underestimate their strength. Like they're not physically, they're just Hoss. I don't know how to describe
That's
it.
just it. Like,
I'm trying to think of somebody who's Hoss.
Okay. Got it.
I'm trying to think
So the answer would be Gabi would be Tom.
I would put Bunny on
I
top.
would say Jack Black is Hoss.
I would not fight Jack Black.
That rascal is like
That's
you
a
watch-
good
Thank you, sir.
person right
Thank
there.
you.
That's
Thank you.
exactly who I would. Yeah, Tom Jack Black would. Yeah,
He's overweight, but yet you can tell by his videos and etc. He's athletic and he has underlying strength and virility within him.
He does jump around a lot.
He jumps around quite a bit. I'm a dancer. I've been roller skating with Sade. I try to keep myself quick and nimble like Jack, and that's how I operate. But now I also
Who would win between
Go ahead.
Who would win between you and Big Bird?
Well, Big Bird's a
Big
bird.
Bird is 8'2", 300 pounds, or
He would-
280 depending on which episode.
Big
you're
Bird
referencing.
is not. And the Big Bird is a pushover.
He's too tall.
He's too tall.
He suffers from gigantism.
Snuffleupagus is who you got.
But he's bottom heavy. He's like a weeble.
Right.
Probably.
I would take out his chicken legs
Gabi's bottom
with a sweep, a
Okay.
sweep of the legs, and he's gone.
Gabi's bottom heavy.
All right, that makes sense. Speaking of birds, I have an app idea for you. My wife hates this idea, but it's $1 million idea.
Go
Okay.
ahead. We're listening.
Tell me what you think. All right, so you enter your age, your gender. My wife is in the seat next to me laughing. You enter your age, your gender, your height, and your weight. So it calculates like your expected bone density,
Mm-hmm.
and then it tells you how much you'd weigh if you had bird bones.
What's the
$1 million idea.
But what's the point?
Bird bone.
You know how much you'd weigh if you had bird bones.
You just
That's
gotta.
the point.
So if you could like grow some, have a big enough feathered wing, you could take off the ground. Like, what's the point?
Well, bird
You
bones.
just- I
Bird
don't know-
bones are
I don't know
hollow.
what the point is. What is the point of anything? You
Bird
know?
bones are hollow and they have struts in them, so you're lighter.
Mason, I'm on your. Did you say girlfriend or wife?
Wife.
My wife, yeah.
My wife. My wife.
My wife.
Class.
I forgot. I did on the podcast. I did come up with an idea how Mason Pierce. I remember, like how Mason Pierce sounded. Like I think on the podcast.
That's right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I read an email.
Yeah,
I was
that's what
like,
it
I
was.
bet Mason sounds like this. I don't know why I did that, but I remember because we were talking about somebody's name, and I went on about. I bet Mason sounds like this. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
Hotel.
I was
It's
on a
been
road
while.
trip. I forget where we were going.
That must have
So
been
my wife just started
episode.
like dying laughing.
That was probably the episode like our like whatever 100 or 150 when we finally did like the big episode and we had call-ins and Mason
Who
must have
knows?
called in with
Who
his
knows? But
Yeah, who knows?
Perry Mason Pierce.
Bones. It would be nice if that app would tell you how much you would weigh if you were on various planets and knowing the gravity. That would be a thing.
Well, birds can't go to planets though, Jerry.
Why not? But you don't really worried about the. I like it'd be interesting if you put your weight and height and all that mess in, and you did. What if I had bird bones? What if I was on Mars? Things of that nature, and it would just adjust
Yeah.
your weight.
What if I was 20,000 leagues under the sea?
What if I was physically active and took care of myself and had self-respect? How much would I weigh?
Yeah.
Like, things of that
That'd be a
nature.
good one.
That would be a good one. What would,
Yeah.
it would just estimate and say, you would be da-da-da. They've been doing those, what is it, the facial things where they were like scanning people's face in and they're so old. And then they're like, what did they look like when they were 20? So they're taking like people's older people and like the AI is like de-aging them and saying, this is what they look like.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So
You
you
could
could
do what would you look like as a chickadee or something?
what would you look like as a manatee? Anything that ends with
Or
T.
that, yeah.
That's my question. Mason seems to be very concerned with fowl and
Why is your
birds.
mind so foul?
Why is Mason so obsessed with birds?
Wingspan did it to everybody.
Wingspan did. It did.
Mason, what color are your eyes? I'm just thinking of Mason piercing blue eyes. That's all I can think
They
of.
are blue. Yeah.
That's all I can think of. This whole pot. I'm like thinking Mason piercing blue eyes.
And we're very judgmental.
I did win best eyes in high school.
He go, "What, you got
What?
best eyes?"
Yeah.
My wife got best smile, which she does have.
What did you have?
I had class clown.
Of course.
which is kind of like not good because it's like, oh, Zoinka's like I was a Zoinka guy, but I wasn't in high school. I was classically funny in school.
Classically funny.
And people appreciated that.
Yeah. Enrique, what'd you win?
I did lots of pratfalls,
I don't
opening
even think we
doors
had
into my
that.
face.
What did you win?
I don't even think we had that.
He
Because
didn't
you
go
were
to high school.
homeschooled.
He didn't go to high school.
Wow. Okay, whatever.
You're homeschooled.
I also had most likely to succeed, but that's not saying much because I went to school in Appalachia.
Well, I went to school in a
It's-
very small town of which we had like 58 people in my graduating class.
Appalachia.
So it didn't require a
Great
whole lot.
Xanax out there.
Mason,
Yeah, I went.
is your wife listening to you talk right now?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
What does your wife think of us? That's more important.
She listens when I listen.
Okay.
She likes the.
We have
podcast.
found.
You listen.
I did this thing where I was keeping track of emails and various comments from our viewers, and I have found that my wife, I beat you to it.
Classic.
Brought up that the wives of our listeners enjoy us equally as much, if not more so, than our actual listeners, which thus would make them listeners, which is circular. I think it's because we don't just talk about board games, but yet we're just.
Yeah, that could be true.
I think we're just classically, we're generalized. We're just good. I don't know how to say that without sounding haughty, but the wives,
Almost professional level comedians, maybe.
Haughty or naughty?
professional level comedians. Do you know what happened? Dan didn't call in. It's
Well,
probably
it
like 4
is.
a.m. there.
It's 4 a.m. at there. Let's see.
That's
Hold on.
okay. We should have had Dan.
So, here we go.
Do you have any questions for?
Wait. Haughty or naughty? Oh, come on.
What
See,
are you
this is what
doing?
happens. This is what happens when you rely upon
God, being the
MP3s
soundboard.
and
Don't do a soundboard.
soundboards.
Enrique,
What?
stay right there. Mason, do you have any questions for Enrique?
How did he get to be so inspirational?
Inspirational.
How did you become an inspiration to the masses? People feel
Yeah.
that you're inspirational.
And to be honest, I don't know.
I know
To be
how.
all honest.
How do you know?
I know how you became inspirational.
Tell me.
Because people get a vibe from you that you should be dead and you're not. And that's like they look at you and they go, here's what happens. When I was a young man many moons ago, I had this thing where I would look at other people that I thought were just, how in the world are these people making it in life? And they inspired me because I thought, well, if this loser can do it, surely I can. And I think that people, because I don't think you realize, your voice goes out to thousands of people each week, and they go, board gamers. And they're like, I'll never have a successful podcast. I'll never be anything. But they hear your voice and they're like, this guy hasn't, this guy's done it. And you've put zero effort into it.
Yes.
You just show up.
It's like, yo, I'm here.
How many episodes of this podcast? We're like on episode 1-something,
250.
Yeah.
Two.
We're at 252? We're past 200?
Yes.
How many episodes have you listened to?
None.
None. You've never heard your voice on this podcast, and it's crazy. You've done nothing. And yet you
Mason, I've changed some inputs and outputs. Mason, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. The reason we couldn't hear Dan is because I had it on the wrong output.
Who's Dan?
There's no one does what Board Game Snobs do better. They are almost professional level comedians.
Thank you, Dan. That's why.
Did you hear that, Mason?
Yes.
Man, I'm good. I'm so good.
Listen, you are good.
I am so good.
I
on
don't
this
tell
thing.
you this very often until
I
the
just
Evan
gotta
Williams
tell you-
kicks in.
Sorry,
But out of all the co-hosts I've ever had,
That Gobby was your only co-host.
you're the largest.
all you need is a Yamaha MG.
Wha-
you didn't
what?
finish anything you just started.
I just stifled myself. Mason,
Mason,
Yes.
thank you for listening.
and thanking your wife. We are thanking your wife.
We are thanking your wife
I
presently.
will tell her.
And we have one more caller that's way past due.
We have to call somebody else. We
Well,
have so many
we told them that
This episode's been lit.
I love what I've done here.
You hung up on him.
I don't even know what that was. Mason, you still
Someone's
there?
calling in.
Mason?
We've lost.
You hung up on Mason.
I did nothing.
He hung up.
Okay, well,
That's a good
we
man.
have one last caller.
I fought with Mason many times. He's accused me of being wrong, which, as you know, I can't comprehend.
Yeah.
And it's
This
not.
is our last
I
one.
remember-
This was a message that was left that they would call.
It's.
I don't know what happened to Mason. Mason, we're sorry.
It's-
I pushed nothing.
It's not that I.
But he was driving, so maybe
I
his
am
phone call
humble.
just dropped.
I can understand that I might be wrong.
You were wrong about that chocolate cake once.
German?
Yeah, the German chocolate cake.
No, I
remember?
wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
No, German. No, the guy named German made it. I was not wrong about that.
You were definitely wrong about that.
People, what it is that people feel that I'm wrong. And I know that, listen, sometimes I say things that are very harsh. Are you calling this person?
Yeah.
I don't know how to call out on. Oh, there he is. Yes. Thank you.
Can I answer this one?
Yes,
No.
go ahead. Ready? And
Welcome to the Board Game Snob podcast. This is Jerry, whom I ask is speaking.
Is this Enrique's number?
Perhaps.
How's it going, Snob?
Who is this?
This is Eric.
Eric who?
Eric Gonzalez. Eric and Lindsay.
Eric Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. This is Eric. We know Eric. Eric, yes. Did you have a phone out where you're at? You're out in the country, way out there.
Did you build it out of
Barely.
sticks and rocks
Don't
and
worry about that.
He's-
Just know he's called us.
He's on his
And we have to
ham radio.
appreciate
his
that.
ham radio?
I
All
had to drive to
right.
town to make this call.
Yes, Eric. Are y'all going to BGG Spring by any chance?
No, they're not. She's already said.
No, we're
I'm gonna be
not.
very sad.
Boo.
I've already communicated with them.
Yes, me and Enrique have decided at the last minute to go because Gabi wasn't going. Bubba might show up, but me and Enrique are going because Gabi can't go. We know that, but Enrique said he would pay for everything.
Huh? I know I may
well,
be.
count me in then.
All right, see? What? Eric can come stay in our room. We got it. Very nice. It's so generous of you, Enrique. That was the 10th caller.
God.
The BGG, and it's Eric. Congratulations.
Jim Caller wins the BG spring ticket.
There you go. Eric, how's things been going?
Good. How many calls have you all had?
This has been shockingly successful. Like we are backed up. We're having to call people back because we don't know how to transfer call ins.
I was like you called while other people were on the phone, and I did not know how to I was hoping to be able to merge calls in. I don't know how to do that. This is Google Voice is what we're using. And it's just an internet system. And I just was like, I was literally like taking pictures of the numbers calling in and like texting them back. And like, it was, but it was good. I've had more fun on this episode in a long time.
Good.
That's not a phrase that made sense, but yeah, it's good.
I had more fun on this episode than I've had in a long time. I think it's
So
because
how do you pack somebody in like that? I'm on a landline.
we just have a switchboard.
I'm not.
I'm telling you,
I'm not on a landline.
We
I
do.
have a mixer. That's a Yamaha. And Eric, if I could, I have a plethora of wires going
It
everywhere.
looks bad. I need to take a picture of this.
It's not pleasant looking.
Sarah, patch them in. It literally is. He's just plugging in things here, and it's working.
We need some operators with smoking a few ciggy cigs and like patching people in, and
But it's working.
it's working. Like that's why I like the Yamaha. It is so versatile. It's a versatile mixer.
My first four-wheeler was a Yamaha, a 250
Little did you know they made mixers.
Bear Tracker back in 1998.
I think I had a keyboard, so they got their hands in a lot of things.
So you were playing the keyboard.
The first Yamaha I ever had as a 4-wheeler was an automatic, which blew my mind at the time because I didn't have to shift
standard.
gears.
No, I had standard because I always liked shift gears. I wouldn't buy an
I like
automatic.
shifting gears.
I like shifting gears.
But my buddy, he bought a Yamaha 4-wheeler, and he's like, "You ain't got to shift gears no more." And I was like 16 at the
you
time.
don't like shifting gears. You don't shift
I
gears.
shi-
You stay
I
in the
shifted
same
gears for a
You're in
living.
Long gear.
I shifted gears for a living.
But in real life, you're in RIL. Is that how they say it?
IRL.
IRL. Thank you, Boomer. That it was real.
I should say Lindsay's here.
Lindsay's here. So Lindsay's the one that settled the debate over who the star of the show was and who the host of the show
Yeah.
was.
And then she changed it.
No,
She did.
no, well, not really. She didn't change it.
After I
You're
became the
deflecting.
star and you were absent for
You've
so
never
long,
been the star.
she said,
You've
"You know
never
what?
been the star. Listen.
He may be a little bit angry. We apologize.
So I'd like
this.
for Lindsay to settle once more. If she is she there? What
Yes.
Enrique is?
What? Oh, okay.
I may have yelled just then. I apologize. What is Enrique?
This was a question sent to us by Enrique's parents.
Yes, we don't know how to answer it. What is
The
Enrique?
dunce or the jester?
The what?
The jester.
The dunce? Did you
Jester.
say
The
dunce?
dunce?
The dunce?
The dunce or the jester.
Do you know what a
Or the
dunce?
jester.
Do you know what the jester is?
I know what the jester is.
That's the guy who juggles
Yeah.
He makes jokes.
and he dies.
Yeah, I have
The
to.
king kills him.
Yeah, I have to make the jokes to calm you two down.
But I'm
You
not.
did not amuse. You don't amuse me. I have to kill you now.
What's that?
That's I don't know. That's like kind of a Russian accent.
That wasn't
came
Russian.
over.
That's like an Azar. That's
You
Italian.
don't
Yeah.
amuse me. You kill you now.
Can we just have a monthly group call because this is very entertaining.
Well, we've. I cannot tell you. This episode is really good for some reason. So yeah.
I'm sure we've insulted several people thus far.
Yes, it's been bad. So
We had a caller from Louisiana, and I had to break out my hello there. What we talking about today? I just love talking like this. This is what I'm talking about, Thibodeau, Louisiana. Welcome to today.
we should do each month. We should do the episode and just pick an accent or something.
Which is funny because I have a
Because it's
Southeast.
racist.
I have,
you find it?
No,
Oh, go ahead.
can you be racist against certain dialects? Because I have a southeastern Oklahoma,
Yes, yes,
northeastern
yes,
Texas.
yes, yes.
Because I talk like this, I talk a specific way, and people talk like this, and it's like, yeah. So when I hear it, like, you know, anytime the news cuts to somebody, and there's like somebody trapped in a basement for 12 years by their parents, they're like, "Well, I saw them down there, and they was trapped for a long time in that basement," and they always have a southern horrible accent. I'm like, can we not have somebody like this trapped in either the northeast or the northwest?
I used to walk by and I'd wave, be like, "What are you doing down there?" I opened the window one day and they's like, "Have me out of here." They've been yes, yeah, that's that. So my favorite thing is when there's tornadoes that blow through the area and they interview people, and there's always somebody they purposely. I'm going to tell this story because this was a horrific accident that took place back when I was on
Fantastic.
on when I was working for the fire department. So we live in the middle of nowhere, and a plane crashed in this town of like 40 people.
Oh my god.
And we don't know what a plane is. Like, I'm the only person that's been out of the country in this town. But if the Dallas Fort Worth airport, like the fairway, the air that goes over this town. And so this plane happened to crash. It was a smaller private jet. So anyways, we had never dealt with something like this. So we're out trying to locate this crashed plane. And while we're trying to look, and the FAA and all these people are communicating with us, this farmer waves us down. And I remember this very just clear as day. Stops us while we're in the fire department and says, "Hey, y'all looking for a plane?" We said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I don't know what this is. You come look at it." And we followed him to his house. And he says, "Now look up here in this pecan tree." And there was a chair from an aircraft, like the seat was in his tree. He says, "There wasn't nobody in it." And I just remember looking up at it and thinking, "Oh no, this is real. This is happening." And so we panicked. And while we were out searching for this crashed plane, the local news showed up because they heard about it. And we completely refused to speak to the news. This is important because after this event, the fire department made me the PIO, the public information officer, because of this event. Meaning I was the guy that was supposed to get on the news and explain and let people know what happened. Fun fact, nothing ever happened. I never got on the news after this. But because we were so scared of what was going on and so disorganized, nobody talked to the news. And the news will find somebody to talk to put on camera. And they found a volunteer fire department. A volunteer,
Yes.
a woman in her 60s that was on the auxiliary who had no teeth, and her nickname was literally Toothless Maud. They interviewed Toothless Maud. Toothless Maud. If you're picturing, when I say Toothless Maud and you think of a person, I can almost guarantee you are picturing this person accurately.
Almost guarantee you.
Oh yeah, we live in Missouri, so we know
So,
exactly.
Toothless Maud
She probably killed that
gave Toothless Maud gave.
She doesn't meth around.
Okay, no, she didn't have meth. We test our volunteers. Plus, they get up. They're up all night, so they're reliable. She gave the interview to the local news, and it was so bad that we completely that was it. That was the end of it. We had to, from then on out, and they chose me to be the public information officer. And then after that, I was so wired up for the next big event so that I could be on the news, and then nothing ever happened. So, yes. So that's why did I get off on this?
I don't know. So, Lindsay and Eric.
Is that plane wreck? Is that where you got that mess of wires that you're running?
Oh my God! Yes, yeah. You saw my picture I sent you. It's horrible, isn't it? Yeah.
Have
So,
you guys ever seen the DJ that would like remix news interviews into songs?
Remix news interviews of songs. That sounds familiar.
It's like auto-tune the news, I think. It's a real old.
Eric will send you one. One of them, I'm sure more than one is, but one of them was from Kansas City. This lady who was like at a Quick Trip, which is a gas station, when it got robbed. It doesn't sound funny, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Just like interview some random person.
Very charismatic.
My favorite is the
And
Arby's
you'll be
guy.
singing it.
The Arby's guy. The guy who did the Arby's interview. Yes, please. It is internet famous, has been for years. It is one of the greatest films of all times. This guy, the local news, this actually happened. Somebody accidentally drove a car through an Arby's, and this guy decided to dress up in an Arby's uniform, and he stood out in front of the Arby's, and he filmed himself like he was giving the interview, and he spliced it in with the local newscast. And it's just Google Arby's guys. It's a guy that looks faintly like Enrique, sort of, kind of. And he gives the absolute greatest interview of all time, but it's all fake, but it's great. Arby's guy interview, worth watching. I watch it every month just so that it helps with depression.
Eric and Lindsay.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
I'm not Eric nor Lindsay.
Are y'all traveling? Are y'all stationary? Do you have Wi-Fi where you're at?
We hotspot off our phone. That's what we have.
Okay. Because at one time we had discussed about having an interview with Eric and Lindsay because they have a very interesting lifestyle, which I'm very interested in, but I wasn't quite sure about your internet capabilities.
I got Starlink. I live out in the sticks too.
I have to say,
how do you like it?
I love it. So I had the best effort, which is just basically Elon said, you pay the same and we'll give you the best internet but we can't guarantee anything. And here recently they launched like 500 different satellites, and they just sent me an email saying, congratulations, you're no longer on best effort, you're now a customer. And since then, I live out in the middle of nowhere where like cell phone signal is rough, and I'm getting like 50 megabytes download, which is amazing for where I'm at.
But yet you never call me and say, hey, do you want a podcast?
I have a family. I have children.
That's your
that
excuse.
love me.
But yet when you want to go bowling,
I take my children bowling.
Everything's cleared out.
I take my children bowling.
You can bring Jack to the podcast.
Jack does not do well. He's not a great podcaster. He's not great. And plus, did you have people thinking that he's small English child?
Daddy,
yes.
can I come on your podcast, Daddy?
Doesn't sound like that. Doesn't sound like that at all.
I would love to come on your podcast, Daddy.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like
Don't
that.
leave me behind, Daddy. Not again.
That's awful. Anything you want to ask Enrique while he's here? Enrique fell asleep briefly, but his sugar's gotten low.
Oh, wait.
It turned back on.
Enrique,
Yes,
are
ma'am.
you ever going to move out of your parents' house?
Wow.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Ask him about his license next, Lindsay.
Please, ask him about his driver's license.
Wow, you guys are really hurting me.
How old are you now?
47.
How old are you, Enrique?
20?
21.
3?
21.
You're 23.
3? Oh, God.
That's okay. I lived with my mom when I was 23, but it was after I moved out and went to college.
Yeah.
But
Which
you
is worse.
Yeah.
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 I like that. There we go.
Yeah, whatever, college.
What goals do you have in your life? When are you going to get your driver's license?
I'm actually trying to get it right now.
How are you
That's
trying?
good.
You're taking the test right now?
Not taking the test right now, but I'm like studying it. Just
So
for, like,
there's a pamphlet. It's like a 3-page pamphlet.
He's looking at the pictures.
page.
Like what?
I got like a little
Do you
book
like-
for it.
Do you like driving, Enrique?
He's never
or does it
driven.
Scare you a little bit?
Like I'm fine with driving. It's just it. I was just never motivated to drive whatsoever. It's like
And why is that?
Why is that?
Not motivated to do anything.
Yeah, there was nothing that I wanted to do. There was nothing.
Why is that?
If you look up
No, I'm not.
nonchalant,
Shh.
that's him.
Shh. Enrique, why is that?
Oh,
Why are you not motivated? Lindsay's asking. Not me.
He's asking the hard question.
kind of. I just never had any type of like I don't know. There was nothing I really thought of. Just
He's
I could do.
befuddled.
He's
He don't even know what to say. He's befuddled. He doesn't know how to answer the question.
yeah.
He has experienced no motivation in his life up to this point.
Is there anything that you want?
I think it's the chicken nugget Dr. Pepper diet.
I do too.
That might be it. It might be fogging his brain somewhat.
I think it
Thanks.
stunted you.
Yeah.
Have you ever,
Yeah.
like when you remember when you were little, was there ever anything that you ever thought, this is what I want to do? I want to be an astronaut or something. You never thought that.
Nope.
I remember when I
What
was.
about even a board game? A video game like tester?
A video game
I-
tester.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
yeah.
that?
They're out there. They test video games.
Yeah.
They have them. They have them play the games to test
Yeah.
out the bugs.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
they-
I'm laughing. I don't know.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
shouldn't be
they're-
laughing.
I'm on
I
Twitch.
think
You
it-
look foolish right now.
Oh, okay.
I forget what the technical term for that is, but yeah, there are jobs.
Dweeb. Like when I was young, I wanted to be an astronaut,
Yeah,
and I thought I'm
How'd that
going.
work out for you?
I know. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was 10 years old. I remember my dad. I said I want to be an astronaut, and the most real thing.
He said you got the first syllable right.
That was good. I'm sorry. You've been shooting stupid. It was you. Like we've been podcasting like 2 hours. Everything you've said so far has been awful. That was great. And I said, like, I want to be an astronaut, and he gave me the most real answer I've ever received in my life about anything. I remember my father looking at me and saying, "You got asthma. They won't let you." And I just remember thinking, oh, so like I can't? No, can't. You might be able to work on the rockets, but you can't go. And I just remember that feeling of there's something I can't do because of this. And it made me a realist. And that is why I am so horrifyingly bitter and objective to this day.
Actually, now that you say that, I think I've
Very
also
sad
had that type of same experience with my kidneys. like I was like. I know how I worded that, and that sounded super weird. As soon as I said it, I was like, "You're an idiot," on how you said that.
I think Enrique might be the star of the show.
Yeah.
What did your father say?
No.
What did your father say, Enrique?
No. It wasn't even my father. It was my mother
What
because
did your mother say?
my mother was more. I was always with my mother.
I've never seen Jerry laugh this hard about anything.
Enrique's like, what did you want to do? Tell me, hurry.
Go ahead, Enrique.
But like anytime I wanted to play any type of sport, it's like be on a team or something like that.
Want to play checkers?
Bowling.
Bowling. You should have chosen bowling.
What sport? Sorry, I'm not making fun of you.
No,
No,
you're
it
fine.
really sounds like you are, though. Really sounds like you are.
ahead.
No, you're fine.
What sport did you
This has been fantastic. Eric and Lindsay, y'all are closing out our show. We're closing in on almost a 2-hour episode. The phone calls have come in from our most loyal listeners, I must say.
Wiffle ball.
How'd we make it on here?
Yeah, well, y'all called in. We don't have a whole like
You
three
called
way.
us. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I messaged Eric. I didn't know the number. I just said call us
We'll put
right
this on
now.
our podcast.
What's that?
I said we'll put this on our podcast.
There you go. On your podcast?
Yeah, since you all called us.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was
The call-in show.
Eric and Lynn. So what?
Yeah, this is Eric and Lindsay's call-in show.
What's-
You know that?
Jerry,
What sport did you want to play? I'm
Okay.
sorry. What sport did
Jerry,
you
pull it together.
Okay.
Pull it together. We have
I'm
Eric
sorry,
and
I
Lindsay
just
on the
pictured your
phone.
mom for a
Yeah,
second.
okay.
That got me really. Dad, that's okay. So tell me.
But no. I think
No.
we're done. I think
No,
we're done with
no,
that.
no.
side
We
of
gotta let
things.
it happen. We gotta let it happen. Tell me, because you're just trying to rush us
Eric and
along.
Lindsay, I'm sorry, but y'all.
They've called us. we called them. They're fine. So what? Tell me, what did you?
Lindsay is a little
maybe-
concerned about Enrique. That so go
Yeah,
ahead.
What sport do you want to play?
mainly football, but
You thought you.
it was just like something I wanted to do. but,
Really? What position fascinated you?
Position, probably runner.
A runner. Yes, a runner is
back.
a very.
runner back. So like,
There's lots of runners in football.
so there's the running back.
Yeah, running back.
Which is the individual that stands kind of like off to the side of the quarterback and runs the ball, and there's the runner who runs along the sideline and gets the Gatorade.
There's a runner in your uniform when you like pull the thread and then you get a runner down your uniform.
So you thought you could? Now I want to ask you this, and I'm being serious.
Okay.
You're flat-footed.
Yes.
You know that, and you say that all the time. You
Yep.
have your feet are literally. There's a thing with your
Nobody
feet.
cares about that but the military.
How then? I have never seen you run.
Yeah.
I don't think. So what made you think? So okay, so you've never ran that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
but you thought, oh, you're going to run. This is inspirational to me.
Okay.
This truly is. So what made you like just go? I'm going to be a running back.
I'm gonna start running.
Stop! Don't you dare! Don't stop! Okay, you gonna keep this.
No, it already happened.
Because we got Chad Chasson is calling it right now. Dude, you want shrimp gum? Barbecue shrimp? Shrimp scampi?
And this is why I'm the wild card of
Okay,
this
so you
entire
thought you just
podcast.
wanted to run. Is that it? You had a passion for running, and how did that get
It was just
stomped out?
stumped out. It like because my mother's like, if you get hit like somewhere near your kidneys, like, and if it
Because
becomes
you just got the one.
yeah, I have the one,
Because
and
like,
it,
But
And
it's
if you-
big.
and it becomes damaged, you're going to die. It's like okay,
Right, on the field.
yeah, on the field, like, and it's just like, oh, okay, well,
And you were like, oh.
But did she tell you if you drink Dr. Pepper every day, it's also going to damage your kidney and you're going to die?
surprisingly, no.
Okay.
Which
Lindsay
we'll
with truth bombs.
disregard.
So Lindsay's
Enrique said disregard.
disregard.
Lindsay with truth bombs.
Okay. So Lindsay
Throw some
wants.
ice in that Dr. Pepper. Get some water.
So
in those
like,
kids,
fascinatingly today, when I picked Enrique up, he came out of his home carrying like 5 Ozarka water bottles,
Which is unusual
which is
for Enrique.
very weird. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm bringing."
Bring waters.
Do you go
There you
like
go.
for regular checkups for your kidneys?
No, like,
When was the last time you went to the doctor?
I don't even remember.
Wow.
Like, to be honest,
So your kidneys could be
like,
good or they could be bad.
Yeah,
like
like-
mine.
like,
You're
But I try to go to the doctor like for blood work,
you
and they
drink
tell me,
so much fluids.
yeah,
yeah, but like I feel fine.
I know you feel fine,
I feel fine.
but that can
It
how you
may
feel can fool
necessarily
you.
not mean I'm good, but
no, it doesn't.
Is your urine clear
yeah,
or
like it's
cloudy?
fine. It's clear. It's fine.
Do you drink water?
So
Okay, this is getting a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Lindsay and Eric are still on the line.
So, but your dreams were crushed because you wanted to be a runner.
Yeah, it's just anything that had to do with like physical activity.
Just running.
It was crushed.
You just wanted to run.
So do you enjoy running though? Just the act of running?
Well, I've
like,
never
down the
seen
road?
you run. I've never seen you run.
It was just mainly like just football, just like
You like football?
Just run.
more like just being able to outrun everyone
Oh, huh?
Mhm.
and just
I don't know if that's a thing.
He outran everyone.
Here,
What is it?
let me have your hand.
okay.
Hold my hand.
They're holding hands.
I'm gonna tell you
now.
right now.
Eric and Lindsay,
Oh,
they're
God.
holding
You
hands.
run. You don't just believe in your dreams
Don't take a photo
and
of this.
I'm
run
taking a photo.
as far as you can.
Send it
Mhm.
to Eric and Lindsay right now.
Possibly just run home. I'll pick you up on the way. 43 miles. You can do it.
I would rather not. Not 43 miles.
The Dairy Queen's a quarter of a mile away. Shoot, start small.
Well, technically, bowling's like been a good
You're not
profession.
running. Oh, you have. You've gotten better. I've noticed you've gotten more athletic since you started bowling.
Like,
Your health, you start
It's
taking more
okay.
seriously.
Eric can't run either. It's okay.
Well, Eric's very
But-
lanky.
He's vascular.
and
He is vascular.
He is
Yeah, I remember
vascular.
when we met them and we played. What was that game with the tableau, the tech tree? The space
the
game.
space game.
You said after that game,
Fun? Something fun.
yeah, beyond the sun.
Beyond the Sun.
You
Yeah,
said
sorry.
two things, and one of them was Eric's very vascular.
It's very vascular, which is a good thing.
And I didn't ask why. I just knew what you were talking about.
Because he was. He just is.
He is.
He's a picture of health in my regard.
He is very vascular.
All
I'll
right.
take it.
That's only because I take care of them.
I believe that.
Fruits and vegetables and no Dr. Pepper. No warm Dr. Pepper, certainly.
Well, Eric and Lindsay, we hit. This is you are on a. So far, the counter is going up, and it's a 27-minute phone call. That shows you how special Eric and Lindsay are
They're the
to
first
us.
listeners.
They're one of our first listeners. Thank you
you're
so
trying
much
to
for.
end this conversation? That's fine, Gabby.
Well, that'll wrap up the show.
Do y'all have it?
Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yes.
Who show are we on?
Now you got to
Love
cut it
hearing
off.
from you.
Thanks for.
You can support us on Patreon. Reach us at ericandlindsay@gmail.com.
There you go. Thanks for having us on the Eric and Lindsay show. We appreciate it very much.
Enrique, sign us off.
all
All
right.
right.
This is Enrique.
You can't say this is Enrique.
I can and I will. Dang it. I
Say thank
will.
you. Say
I've
thank you.
never heard him say it. So
Say thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs.
Yeah.
And then you throw it to me, and I throw it to Jerry. Then he throws it to you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Here we go. He didn't even get that right. Didn't even
right.
get that
Yeah.
You
right.
said it.
Yeah, I listened to it.
Okay, and let me start it. Okay,
Okay.
Eric and Lindsay, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, am I repeating
No,
it
no,
now?
no. You are silent right now. This is a giant train wreck.
Mother told you you couldn't run.
This is why we don't take live phone
This
calls.
is why we don't do live.
Okay, Enrique, you are done for the moment.
Turn
Let
it-
me turn the mic off.
Well,
Okay.
No, you do turn
Okay.
my mic off.
Eric and Lindsay, we truly do appreciate you calling in. You have been loyal listeners for a long time. We enjoyed playing games with you at BGG Spring 2022
And we appreciate everybody else who called in.
and everyone else.
Jared and Ryan and Chad
Luke
and
and
Luke
Mark
and
from
Mark.
the Green Tank, my favorite tank of the Board Game Barrage.
He is a tank.
And next time we'll have hopefully many other listeners that decide to call in as well. Eric and Lindsay, would you like to sign off in some particular way?
Yeah, thanks for letting us join in on this. I'll throw it back to you, Enrique. Go ahead.
You can't do that. That's been forbidden, Eric.
He got his mic. That's how rude it
That's
is.
been forbidden, Eric. Sorry. All right, Eric and Lindsay, I'll speak for you. This has been Eric and Lindsay on the Board Game Snobs
This
podcast.
is the type of thing we have to
Jerry?
deal with. This is Jerry.
This is
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.